Aloha, beautiful people. I am Tara, the metabolic therapist, and I'm taking over Live Yoga Channel today to invite you to discuss all things digestive wellness and gut health. Now, this could mean stress, this could mean inflammation, this could mean constipation and bad breath, all sorts of things. Yet I am super happy to create this space so that we can share. And what are some do-it-yourself biohacks that support your best health? My name's Tara, and I've been doing this since 2005. I was turned on to, some call it alternative, yet it was a yoga teacher. I was in Culver City, California, taking a yoga class, and the teacher first talked to me about the power of fasting. Fasting, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine going without food, or wow, you might starve. And she planted the seed. She planted the seed for this kind of a lifestyle. So it is through my fasting journey that I've learned all sorts of ups, downs, and insides outs. It really made me passionate. And for so long, I was a strict vegetarian. And that helped me. That helped me to learn the importance of understanding where our food comes from. And this connects to my values around ahimsa, which is our yogic yama that says practice nonviolence. And as a vegetarian, I believed that that was the only way. And about 3.5 years ago, I had to bring in animal products again. I made peace with the food chain and was able to start bringing in good fats and proteins and dairies from very well-sourced animals. So this was a big part of my practice. And so I've learned some things that work well and not so well. I'm happy to share that with you. So it looks like we've got somebody joining us. And if you have any questions you'd like answered around digestive health or emotional health, because I want to bring those in. I have a love for compassionate communication. And I believe that over the last few years, it's been driven home that, you know, stress hurts. And when we have stress and inflammation in our body, like the stress exacerbates the absence of ease in our body. And some refer to it as dis-ease. So when I love to also include practices of identifying and basically just engaging and growing our vocabulary around feelings and needs, with the idea that feelings live in our heart and our needs, our value systems, are in our core. They're like straight in our guts, right? This is like who we are and what we find important in our lives. And this can change based on the moment to moment. So self-identifying, self-understanding is going to help us to best tend to ourselves and the communications that our body is giving us. And we learn and we practice this on the mat in yoga when we do physical practice or asana. We utilize our breath as the cue to tune in to what our body is saying. Yes, let's have some more, or no, I've gone too far. And this happens, you know, when they're spraying in the face, you know, it's like, oh, let's back off. We've learned that in our asana practice. Well, I'd like to take that off the mat as well. And when we tune into our bodies, it is so full of wisdom and so very much available to communicate with us what we're needing exactly in that moment. Often it's a drink of water. So please type out your questions and answers, and I'd love to, talk story together. And I'm happy to answer some of your questions. But I have a deep belief that when we tune in to, we ask ourselves, what am I feeling and needing? That's helpful too. So then that way we're not like running throughout our days, just chasing cravings all day long. Has anybody ever believed that they might be addicted to sugars? Ouch. I've been taking a hard look at that for years, and it's no easy feat, to consistently believe or to have sensations that, that the body's needing more sugars and such. And sometimes it doesn't feel like my most peaceful, harmonious self. So, got a few people here. Happy to learn about what you're interested in. Feel free, keep it private, but let me know what kind of things you're curious about. And in the spirit of the yogis, and this is live yoga channel that we do lots of lives on. We're building content. We want to connect more and more with an audience virtually, because that's, we're all spending much more time indoors. So learning from you. So comment on how we may share more together. But in the spirit of the yogis, we practice fasting. And fasting can have quite a few definitions. And I've been seeing how in the health and wellness scene, how fasting, intermittent fasting, which I believe is a very strong tool, and it requires some respect and consideration for each body and the needs of that body. So me, just like on the yoga mat, me assuming that how I'm going to fast is going to be exactly how the person next to me is fasting, it's not the case. But why I love the idea of fasting and what it does is, and it's been used throughout time. It's been in every culture across the planet, how fasting has served as medicine, right? So this is a picture of our digestive tract all the way from the tongue down to the anus. Now notice that this is the small intestine and the large intestine, and these are stretched out. You might remember this, here's the small intestine as it sits inside of our trunk. But stretched out, what you can see here is all of the opportunity for things to get stuck and just kind of rot inside of our digestive tract and cause all sorts of fermentation and gaseous alchemy that ends up being like burping or inflammation, flatulence, indigestion, all sorts of symptoms. And when left untreated, it can cause big discomfort. So what the power of fasting, and this may mean like skipping a meal. Like, can you even wrap your head around having a soup or a smoothie or a liquid meal instead of a full meal? Does that idea just trigger you, and that like, oh no, I could never do that. Oh, I could never do that. Well, that in itself may be that it could be a good time to take a perspective shot of what we're consuming and the impact it's having inside of our body, which is definitely going to impact our mental health as well. So when we take a break though, because what happens is every time we put something in our mouth, whether it's an apple or a donut, as soon as it hits our mouth, the entire digestive tract turns on. It turns on, and some even say that it happens when we're smelling the food. Our mouth starts to water, it turns on our digestive fire, and then goes the process as we take a bite and chew it up, goes the process of our body digesting it, taking what it deems as fuel and then relieving the rest so that the body can process it as waste. However, depending on how compromised our guts are from years of, chemical-laden foods, overuse of antibiotics, growing up in the 80s where low fat was the scene, and, compromised our gut lining. Many of us are running around with autoimmune issues, itchy skin, asthma, itchy, flared parts of our body. Well, when we take a break from turning on our entire digestion, from that bite of the apple or the popcorn or the donut, when we take a break from that, we give our digestive system a chance to work on everything that it's already got inside, right? So if you remember from school, our digestive system is one of the systems of the body, right? Our circulatory, our endocrine system, our nervous system, our respiratory system, our digestive system. Now, if we're eating the standard 3 meals a day, each time we put a bite of food into our mouth, it turns on this entire digestive tract. And so if we're consistently snacking throughout the day, even snack, 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 this system is always in the front, right? And so when we give a break from digestion, and this doesn't mean removing all calories. Like I take in liquids, and I surely make sure that it has nourishing elements in it so that my body feels satiated and I'm not going hungry. But what it does is it's soothing, and it gives my digestive tract a break so that it can work with what it already is working on. And then the other systems, my immune system, can take the front seat, step up and work on other things, because it's been on the back seat. All the other systems have been on the back seat because the digestive system is getting most of the attention. So as in yoga, we love to bring balance to all parts of the body. So this is why I love the idea of fasting, and it can look very different to everybody from day to day. I hear a lot of people say, oh, doesn't that break a fast? Doesn't that break a fast? And so I'm here to remind you that there is power and connection from abstinence, right? And many religions across the globe utilize the power of fasting as a spiritual path. And I love to share this practice because I too, whenever I'm feeling foggy, and not as connected to my higher self, and whatever religion you believe in, your higher self, whatever you call God, the universe, Great Spirit, God, Goddess, when we give our body a break from digesting all of the earthly matters, we're cleared, it's easier to connect to our higher source. And from there, we clarify, we know how to choose and decide, and it's quite a powerful practice. So happy to continue to join here. I'll bring various topics and ideas. Today, I'd love to talk fasting, as well as electrolytes. You want to make sure, many of us are running around, lots of people are like, oh, I drink a gallon of water a day and hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And I've been on the train where it seems like I'm overhydrating and drinking too much water, and then, just having to urinate a lot. And I'm wondering, like, oh, is my body even taking in the hydration that I'm giving it? And I've seen that too much water can drown out the organs and can actually dilute these precious trace minerals that are moving throughout all of our waters and our plasmas. Like this body is its own aquarium, similar to the entire globe that has like 80% of water. And we know that the tide, the phases of the moon impact the tide. And we watch this of the new moon and the full moon, and we see how the gravitational pull impacts the waters of this planet. Well, in that same fashion, the impact of the moon impacts this earthly body and has pull, gravitational pull of these waters. And these waters are unique to yours because we've grown up in different places. We've had different medications, different diets, different stressors. And as I hit 40 a couple years ago, I'm seeing there's lots more, you know, we tend to all be dealing with something or another. So I love to share in some at-home biohacks as well as full-on reclaiming of our lifestyle so that we can be most supportive of this beautiful temple. And the idea that we are our own human aquarium and we need to sleep and nourish and hydrate our bodies as, I want to say, as being asked by this beautiful temple. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I love to put a little bit of pink salt, just a pinch, in my drinking water so that I can get lots of good sodium. Sodium is quite a building block of this, of all the plasmas and the blood and all the systems of the body. All right, so we've talked fasting, we've touched on hydration. Too much can be diluting, not enough can be, you know, dehydrating. You know, the body needs hydration to function. And then also want to talk about sugar hacks. You know, do you find yourself in the middle of the afternoon needing that like extra cup of coffee or sugary snack to make it through the rest of the day? Well, I'd love to invite you to consider trying a cup of bone broth in the afternoon. I have a recipe on my website, which is called themetabolictherapist.com. And in my Learn section, I have a short video on how to make a bone broth latte. And this is one of my favorite afternoon snacks. Mineralizes and nourishes all the entire gut lining, which is full of like mucosa, and we want to keep those fluids and all the mucosas in a balanced place. So I very much suggest an afternoon treat of a bone broth latte. Now, if it's hot where you are and that one doesn't work as well, then you know, if you're seeking a sugary snack, I would say first, take a walk. Actually, first, get a drink of water. Next, take a walk and see what is going on. You know, really like, what am I feeling? Ask yourself, what am I feeling and what am I needing? Again, the feeling, and it's not like, oh, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm good. And I'm good. What's the feeling? There's lots of words. I love to utilize mad, sad, glad, frad, and bad. Frad stands for afraid, bad stands for shame. So am I mad? Am I sad? Am I glad? Am I afraid? Or am I feeling shame? Mad, sad, glad, frad, or bad. Okay. What am I feeling? And what might that be connected to? So sometimes in the afternoon, or, you know, I'm having a busy morning, I'm feeling, you know, drawn for that like sugary snack that's in my cupboard, or I'm out and about. And I told myself, actually, I'm not going to do those sugary snacks this week. I'm going to show some restraint. Well, rather than just going for it because I'm stressed and, you know, it's justified, a way is to connect, you know, and we call this self-empathy. Ask myself, you know, what am I feeling? And so utilizing them, I may be feeling overwhelmed and confused. And that could be under like the sad feeling, right? I'm needing some help and it's hard to understand. So I'm feeling sad. And really what I'm needing is support and understanding. And just in that identification, I'm already feeling more whole and complete simply by identifying. I work with my clients on this a lot, like engaging in a communication practice with self to best understand ourselves without, best as we can, self-evaluation or judgment, without criticizing ourselves. So connecting to what the feelings and the beautiful needs are can help us to make an informed decision. So then if we actually do want that piece of cake and we're doing it from a place of empowerment as opposed to shame or guilt, or there's a difference, and you know the difference. We all know that difference, whether I'm, reaching for something as a stress response, or if I'm doing it in a wholehearted, I'm going to enjoy this to the fullest. All right, so we've covered fasting lifestyle, techniques and tips for beginners. We've covered electrolytes and hydration, just a little bit. We've also been talking about stress and connecting to our emotional well-being and identifying for ourselves what we're feeling and needing. And that feels good today. So I'm going to sign off shortly. Please, if you've gotten anything from our time together today, please hit that like button, subscribe. I'd love to do this more with you. I had been doing it in a Zoom room, and what I'm seeing is, it's a little clunky, and that there's, registrations and scheduling and such. So I'm trying this live situation, and YouTube seems like a fun place to learn this skill. So thank you for your patience. Please comment below on some things you'd like to talk about. I can go there. I'm not a doctor. I am a certified functional nutritionist. I help people with one-on-one lifestyle. I call them metabolic makeovers. And then I also do corporate wellness. I'm a wellness consultant, and I do programs for teams. I'd love to connect with you. Please like us, subscribe, and comment below. Love to learn more together. Ahui ho, which in Hawaii, this means until next time, have a beautiful day. Aloha.